The most dangerous prison is the one you cannot see. Welcome back, everyone. LanceScurvX here, the Scurv Podcast. Most people hear the word Matrix and immediately think about a movie, a science fiction story, or some mysterious conspiracy hidden behind the curtains of society. They imagine computers, artificial intelligence, secret organizations, and futuristic worlds. But the real Matrix is far more dangerous because it does not exist outside of you. It exists inside your mind. The greatest trick ever performed was convincing humanity that freedom exists simply because we are allowed to move around physically. We believe we are free because we can drive where we want, travel where we want, vote for who we want, and purchase what we want. Yet many people never stop to ask a deeper question. If my thoughts have been programmed from birth, am I really making my own choices? The Matrix is not a single system. It's a collection of systems stacked upon one another like layers of an onion. Every layer is designed to shape your perception of reality. Every layer influences what you believe is possible. Every layer tells you who you are before you have the chance to discover it for yourself. The danger is not merely being trapped inside a matrix. The danger is believing that you have escaped when you have only entered another level of the same prison. Most people spend their entire lives moving from one matrix to another while celebrating each move as freedom. They never realize that the walls have simply changed shape. The first matrix every human being enters is the family. A child enters this world carrying unlimited potential. The child does not arrive with political beliefs. The child does not arrive with religious divisions. The child does not arrive hating anyone. The child does not arrive believing they are rich or poor, superior or inferior, successful or unsuccessful. The child arrives as pure possibility. Then the programming begins. The family teaches the child what to fear. The family teaches the child what is acceptable and unacceptable. The family teaches the child what success looks like and what failure looks like. Even when parents mean well, they often pass down generations of fear, trauma, limitations, and insecurities. If your parents feared taking risks, you may inherit that fear. If your parents believed struggle was normal, you may unconsciously recreate struggle in your own life. Many people spend decades trying to understand why they keep repeating the same patterns. They do not realize that they are running programs installed before they were old enough to question them. The first matrix teaches you who you are. Or more accurately, it teaches you who other people think you are. The second matrix arrives when you enter school. Most people assume education exists to expand human consciousness. In theory, that sounds wonderful. But in practice, much of modern education teaches conformity before creativity. Children are rewarded for giving approved answers. Children are rewarded for memorization. Children are rewarded for compliance. Rarely are they rewarded for questioning the assumptions behind the lesson itself. A true free thinker can be difficult to manage because free thinkers challenge authority. They ask uncomfortable questions. They seek understanding instead of obedience. The educational matrix often conditions people to become specialists in repeating information rather than explorers seeking truth. Many leave school with degrees, but no understanding of themselves. Many leave school with credentials, but no understanding of the universal principles governing life. Many leave school knowing how to work for a system, but not how to think independently from it. And yet, most never question it because the matrix is most effective when it appears normal. Beyond family and education lies the largest matrix of all, society. This matrix is so massive that most people mistake it for reality itself. It tells you what beauty looks like. It tells you what success looks like. It tells you what relationships should look like. It tells you what happiness should look like. The collective mind constantly broadcasts instructions through advertising, entertainment, news, social media, fashion, politics, and popular culture. Most people believe they are making independent decisions, yet many of their desires were carefully planted long before they ever felt them. The car they want, the lifestyle they want, the status they want, the image they want, the approval they want. How much of it was truly their own idea? That question alone has the power to shake the foundation of an entire life. This is where things become even deeper. Suppose you awaken to the first level of programming. You question your family conditioning. You question your education. You question society. You may feel liberated, but then another matrix appears. You become attached to being awake. You join groups that claim to possess hidden knowledge. You adopt new beliefs without examining them. You trade one form of programming for another. You escape one prison only to move into a larger cell. This is why the matrix inside the matrix is the most dangerous level. Every belief system can become a prison. Every ideology can become a prison. Every identity can become a prison. The ego loves new labels because labels provide comfort, but truth exists beyond labels. True freedom requires constant self-examination. True freedom requires the courage to question even the beliefs that make you feel comfortable. The greatest threat to any system built on manipulation is an individual who understands universal laws. Universal laws operate whether you believe in them or not. Just as gravity works regardless of opinion, there are principles governing thought, energy, action, consequence, vibration, attention, and intention. The universe responds to what we repeatedly focus upon. The mind shapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. Those who understand these principles become harder to manipulate because they stop reacting unconsciously. They become creators instead of consumers. They become observers instead of victims. They become conscious participants in their own lives. That transformation cannot be sold, manufactured, or programmed. It must be earned through awareness. Most people view the brain as a biological machine designed only for thinking, but your mind influences every aspect of your experience. Your thoughts affect your emotions. Your emotions affect your actions. Your actions affect your future. Your attention acts like a form of energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. The modern world fights relentlessly for your attention because attention is power. Every notification competes for it. Every advertisement competes for it. Every platform competes for it. Every distraction competes for it. The battle for human attention may be the greatest invisible war taking place today. Those who control attention often influence behavior. Those who influence behavior often influence reality. Freedom is not simply the ability to travel. Freedom is not simply the ability to purchase things. Freedom begins when you understand how your mind has been conditioned. Freedom begins when you identify the invisible programs operating beneath your conscious awareness. Freedom begins when you stop allowing others to define reality for you. The matrix survives because most people never examine the assumptions guiding their lives. They inherit beliefs, they repeat beliefs, they defend beliefs, but they rarely investigate beliefs. The moment you begin asking deeper questions, the walls begin to crack. The moment you begin observing your own programming, the chains begin to weaken. The moment you seek truth instead of comfort, another layer of the matrix begins to dissolve. The goal is not to become paranoid. The goal is not to fear the world. The goal is awareness. The goal is understanding. The goal is learning how to think rather than being told what to think. Every day offers a choice. You can continue operating from programs installed by others, or you can begin the lifelong journey of discovering who you truly are beneath every label, every fear, every expectation, and every layer of conditioning. The matrix has many levels. Some are obvious, some are hidden behind other hidden levels. But every step toward awareness returns you to the original frequency you carried when you first entered the world. And that is exactly what the systems of control fear most: a human being who remembers who they really are. One of the deepest matrices ever created is the spiritual matrix. Understand something clearly. There is a difference between spirituality and religious programming. Spirituality is your direct connection to the Creator. Programming is when someone stands between you and that connection and tells you that you cannot access the divine unless you go through them. The spiritual matrix is dangerous because it often disguises itself as righteousness. Many people spend their entire lives memorizing words they do not understand, repeating traditions they never question, and defending doctrines they never investigated. They inherit beliefs from their parents, who inherited beliefs from their parents, who inherited beliefs from generations before them. The question is not whether a belief system contains truth. The question is whether you have personally experienced that truth. Many people are defending cages they were born inside. The spiritual matrix teaches people to fear questions, but truth never fears investigation. Truth does not become weaker because you ask questions. Truth becomes stronger. A mind that cannot question is a mind that cannot grow. The moment a person begins seeking direct understanding instead of secondhand explanations, another wall of the matrix begins to crumble. Another powerful matrix is money. Now understand me carefully. Money itself is not evil. Money is a tool. The matrix begins when your entire identity becomes attached to chasing it. From childhood, many people are taught that life is about getting a good job, buying a house, accumulating possessions, retiring, and eventually dying. Nobody asked whether that path actually creates fulfillment. Nobody asked whether the ladder being climbed is even leaning against the correct wall. The financial matrix convinces people that happiness exists one purchase away, one promotion away, one raise away, one investment away, one luxury item away. Yet many people reach those goals and still feel empty. Why? Because fulfillment cannot be purchased. The matrix survives by keeping people running faster, working longer, consuming more, comparing themselves constantly to others. The modern economy thrives on dissatisfaction. A person who is completely at peace with themselves becomes very difficult to manipulate. A person who believes they are incomplete becomes a lifelong customer. That is the game. That is the matrix. One of the oldest matrices ever created is division. The people trapped inside it rarely realize they are being controlled. The racial matrix convinces groups of people that they have nothing in common with each other. It trains individuals to see labels before seeing humanity. It teaches people to react emotionally before thinking critically. The result is predictable. People fight each other while the systems controlling both groups continue operating uninterrupted. This does not mean differences do not exist. Of course they exist. History exists. Culture exists. Experiences exist. But the matrix profits when division becomes permanent. The moment people become incapable of communicating with each other, the controllers no longer have to work so hard. The prison becomes self-maintaining. People begin policing themselves. People begin attacking one another. People become distracted from the larger systems shaping all their lives. A divided population is easier to manage than a united one. That truth has remained unchanged throughout history. Never before in human history has so many people willingly carried surveillance devices everywhere they go. We call them phones. We sleep beside them. We eat beside them. We work beside them. We wake up looking at them. We fall asleep looking at them. And most people never stop to ask what effect this constant connection is having on their minds. The digital matrix is unique because it does not use chains. It uses convenience. It does not force participation. It makes participation irresistible. Every notification creates anticipation. Every message creates expectation. Every like creates validation. Every scroll creates dependency. The system learns your habits. It learns your interests. It learns your fears. It learns your desires. Then it feeds them back to you. Many people believe they are exploring the internet. In reality, the internet is exploring them, collecting data, building profiles, predicting behavior, shaping decisions. The most powerful prison is one that feels like entertainment. The greatest resource in the modern world is not oil. It's not gold. It's not land. It's attention. Whoever controls your attention influences your reality. Think about it. Whenever you repeatedly focus on becomes larger in your life. Fear grows when attention feeds it. Anger grows when attention feeds it. Anxiety grows when attention feeds it. The Matrix understands this perfectly. This is why every platform competes for your attention. Every company competes for your attention. Every politician competes for your attention. Every influencer competes for your attention, because attention is energy. And where energy flows, reality begins to form. The person who masters their attention begins reclaiming their freedom. The person who cannot control their attention becomes easier to control. Fear may be the oldest matrix of them all. Fear causes people to surrender freedoms they would never surrender under normal circumstances. Fear causes people to stop thinking clearly. Fear causes people to seek authority figures who promise safety. Fear causes people to abandon intuition. A fearful population is easier to direct. A fearful population is easier to manipulate. A fearful population becomes dependent. This does not mean danger does not exist. Danger does exist. The problem occurs when fear becomes the lens through which every event is viewed. A mind trapped in fear cannot perceive clearly, and perception is everything. The moment fear dominates perception, reality becomes distorted. That distortion becomes another prison. Perhaps the greatest matrix is identity itself. Most people spend their lives protecting an image of themselves. They defend labels. They defend titles. They defend social positions. They defend political affiliations. They defend beliefs. But who are you without these things? Who are you beyond your occupation? Who are you beyond your possessions? Who are you beyond your social status? Who are you beyond what other people think about you? Most people never ask these questions. They become the mask. They become the role. They become the performance. The Matrix loves this because a person who forgets their true nature becomes dependent on external validation. The external validation is one of the strongest chains ever created. This is where the journey becomes uncomfortable. After questioning family programming, after questioning school, after questioning religion, after questioning politics, after questioning society, after questioning media, after questioning culture, you eventually arrive at the final matrix: yourself, your own ego, your own attachments, your own fears, your own illusions. This is the hardest prison to escape because there is nowhere left to point the finger. There are no villains to blame, no institutions to blame, no systems to blame, only the internal programming that still remains. The final awakening occurs when a person realizes that freedom is not found by changing the world first. Freedom begins by changing yourself. The external matrix survives because of the internal matrix. When the internal prison collapses, the external prison loses much of its power. The goal is not paranoia. The goal is awareness. The goal is not isolation. The goal is wisdom. The goal is not to hate technology. The goal is to master it rather than be mastered by it. The goal is not to reject society. The goal is to see it clearly. The goal is not to escape reality. The goal is to understand it. Every matrix gains power through unconscious participation. Every matrix weakens through awareness. The moment you begin observing your thoughts instead of automatically obeying them, you gain power. The moment you begin questioning your assumptions, you gain power. The moment you begin protecting your attention, you gain power. The moment you begin studying universal laws instead of popular opinions, you gain power. Because knowledge is not simply information. Knowledge is liberation. And real freedom is not given, it's discovered. The greatest fear of every system built upon control is a human being who understands who they truly are. Because once a person discovers that truth, they stop acting like a battery. They stop acting like a consumer. They stop acting like a programmed machine. They become conscious. They become aware. They become powerful. And that is when the matrix begins to lose its grip. I hope you understood all that I came with today, because this is something that's been on my mind for a long time as we peel back the layers. But it all depends on us. It all depends on us discovering ourselves and knowing who we are. Do most of us know who we are? Or are we buried beneath layers and layers of what has been put on us, forcing us to think that we are that because of what we inherit? We got a lot of thinking to do. And I know, even though I think I'm a little more advanced than I was years ago, I still have a whole lot of work to do. You see, you can take yourself off of the grid and move way, way up in the mountains and change your outfits, change your name, and try to act holy. But are you still in the matrix if you haven't discovered who you truly are? If you've only switched one layer of the onion for another, you may fool everybody else and yourself. But how bad is it to move through a whole lifetime to finally discover that you've been living a lie because of what the matrix put on you? You were born pure, and we should end up transitioning to the next level pure. But how many of us will successfully transition? I mean, we are going to lose or leave our bodies, but where will we go when we don't know who we are? And it might be a different place if we can leave this level unscathed to go on pure the same way we came in. Leave your comments below. Let's talk about it. I want to go deeper on my next video. Let's continue to explore. This is not about hits and likes. It's about moving to a higher level, because we're going to leave all of these systems behind and realize that it really wasn't worth anything except to cloud our judgment as to who we are. Anyway, on to the next one. LanceScurv out. Much love and thank you for just staying here with me for this one. Leave your comments and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.